Hey, and welcome back to another episode of LadyBoss Unplugged. In today's episode, we're going to dive in for every mom who's ever felt pressure to be everything for everyone, and then felt guilty for even thinking about taking a break. We're talking about all about mom guilt, what it is, where it comes from, and how it sneaks into our daily lives. And most importantly, how to overcome it so we can show up as the best women, wives, and moms we truly want to be. And I'm not having this conversation alone. I'm joined by an incredible guest who has so much wisdom to share on this topic. She's helped thousands of women stop the guilt spiral and step into a healthier version of motherhood. We'll be right back after this quick break. And when we return, I'll tell you a little bit more about her before we dive in.
Absolutely love. Hi, I'm Kaitlyn Talamante, CEO and owner of LadyBoss. Wife, mom of two boys, and your biggest cheerleader.
Do you remember when mommy looked like that?
Way not similar.
Each week, we'll dive into stories, strategies, and straight up motivation to help you show up as the best version of you. Because let's be honest, you are made for more. So whether you're driving the kids to practice, hitting the treadmill, or just taking a moment for yourself, get ready to laugh, learn, and leave inspired.
LadyBoss gives you the tools to not only hit your weight loss or your health and fitness goals, but to believe in yourself.
This is LadyBoss Unplugged, where women like you rise, thrive, and shine.
JoAnn Crohn is a parenting educator and a certified life coach who's helps overwhelmed women. Nope, we're going to restart that one again. JoAnn Crohn is a parenting educator and certified life coach who helps overwhelmed moms transform from martyrs to role models. As a founder of No Guilt Mom and the host of the award-winning podcast No Guilt Moms, JoAnn has helped hundreds of women reclaim their joy while creating deeper family connections. A former national board certified teacher with a master in education, JoAnn lives in Arizona with her husband of 19 years and her two children, ages 16 and 11. Hey, JoAnn, how are you doing today? I'm so excited to have you on LadyBoss Unplugged with us.
I am good. I am so excited to be here.
So excited to have you. I know you know a little bit about our Lady Bosses and our Lady Boss community, but we have a large foundation of moms. And mom guilt is so real. And so when I met you in person a few months back, I was like, I've got to have you on our podcast so we can dive into this topic specifically. Because I know myself, I have 100% felt the mom guilt. In fact, I still deal with it. And we would love to pick your brain and all your insights on mom guilt. Do you mind?
Yeah. So even though it's called No Guilt Mom, like I still have the mom guilt as well. And it's like, it's more of an ideal we're trying to achieve. And we know it'll never completely go away. But like, just for example, my daughter is going to this summer program. And, you know, I get really overwhelmed with all the things that we have to do for kids, like all the paperwork we have to fill out, all like the school stuff we have to keep track of. And like, anytime I have to do that, I'm like, okay, I'm so like, okay, just give it to me. I'll do it. She actually asked my husband to fill out the form for her because we're trying to, and this is a conscious effort between both me and my husband, like we're trying to get the kids to go to him more because like, I'm the default. And automatically my first thought is like, she hates me. I haven't done something right because like she's not coming to me. So like the mom guilt, it is real, it is pervasive, and it happens still to all of us.
That it does. And it's so funny that you and your husband are working on a joint effort because I'm working on it with my husband currently too, because yeah, the default parent gets tired.
Oh yeah. And it becomes like ridiculous. Like I would go on a business trip and they would be texting me, hey mom, can we get this? And I'm like, your father is in the same house as you. Go and ask him.
No. Mom's off to the clock right now. Dad is on duty. Go ask him. He is a mature adult that can make that answer.
Yep, exactly.
Whoa, I love it. So I've got a question for you. What is mom guilt? How do you define it? I know some women have I know it took me a while to realize that what I was experiencing was mom guilt.
Mom guilt is this feeling that we have that we are not doing enough. And I feel like mom guilt is actually better labeled as mom shame, but mom guilt is how everybody knows it, because guilt is like this like worry, this concern about something that you did, but shame is this worry and concern about someone that you are. And I think with mom guilt, we think that we are horrible moms if we like don't do such and such for our kids, if we don't like get them into like a good school, if we don't keep on them with homework, if we don't like follow up with them on chores, or if we make them do like too many chores. Like mom guilt works every single direction we possibly can. Just like my story with like not wanting, like not having to do the forms, and mom guilt attacked me there, even though this was something I could delegate and get off my plate. So it's just this insidious feeling that just follows us women around everywhere.
It really is. And I never thought of it as like the shame versus guilt. And when you said it, I was like, ooh, that's deep. Like, yep. I feel that difference, because like there's even that time where it's like, it does almost feel shameful. Like
It does. We question our worth all the time as women, as parents, if we're like good enough, if we're cut out for motherhood. It's something I used to like give myself grief a lot for in the past. But yeah, it's if we do it all the time.
we do. We're our own worst critic for sure.
Mm-hmm.
How can you recognize if you're experiencing mom guilt?
I think if you are here and listening to this podcast and you're wondering if I'm experiencing mom guilt, the answer is yes. Because mom guilt, if you weren't worried about it, it wouldn't be an issue. Do you know what I mean? Yes. Like the fact that if you're concerned about mom guilt, if you're thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing enough. Is this mom guilt, or is this I'm not really doing enough? I would say it's definitely mom guilt, because people who aren't doing enough don't care. They don't listen to podcasts. They just like go on with their merry lives, and it doesn't make any like meaningful change. Like they don't go for that meaningful change. So if you're here, it's mom guilt, definitely, that you're experiencing.
Oh, yep, nope. I'm like, okay, am I a part of parenting Facebook groups? Yep, guilty. Like, yeah. I can see that. Yes. So, in what areas does mom guilt impact our lives? That's what, yeah.
I think that like the areas that like it really impacts us is, first of all, like when we overextend ourselves, when we're saying yes to the things that we don't have time for, and then we are feeling that resentment and aftermath that comes up. For instance, it's like, I don't really want to join the PTO, and then the mom guilt comes in, but if I was a good mom, I'd be in PTO, and this is what all the good parents do. And even though I don't really want to do it, I should go and do this. And then you join it, and every time a PTO meeting comes up, you're like, I hate PTO, but you like go and you're there. Like that is the way mom guilt shows up. It gets you in those things that like aren't your like joy centers, aren't like where you're going to really thrive and succeed. And then you feel overextended with all the stuff you have to do. And so that things that do bring you joy, that you could like really excel in, and therefore bring like a lot of great good to your family, you can't say yes to because your time is already occupied. So that's one way it shows up.
Are you saying it's okay to say no to PTA? Like, I don't have to?
Of course. I avoid the PTA so much, especially like when in communities like ours. It's really interesting the viewpoint I have about the whole PTA in general, because I used to be a teacher in a Title I school. Like 98% of our kids got free or reduced lunch. Most of the parents worked 2 to 3 jobs. We didn't have a PTA because the parents did not have time for a PTA. They could not come for the PTA. And I think that when we get into communities like that aren't a Title I community where there is extra income, there's these PTOs that are just crazy busy with all of these activities and things where they have more than enough parents. Like if you're at a school where you have to get in a lottery drawing to be a volunteer on your kids' field trips, your PTA is fine without you. It's fine.
Yeah. That makes me think of my son's high school, like with booster club. I thought, oh, maybe I'll do a booster club. But the school's so large, there's a booster club for every single sport. And it's like,
yeah.
How? I don't have the, no, sorry.
Yeah, I'm not saying like it's not a valuable thing, because there are some people who are like really skilled in that area. They love fundraising, they love being involved. It gives them so much joy. And that's amazing. And those people, yes, go join Booster Club. But if you're one of those people who doesn't get joy from it and you feel overextended, it's your mom guilt pushing you in. And you don't need to do that to be a good mom and support your kids at school.
Do you ever feel like the moms who are stuck in saying yes to everything start to build that resentment with their mom guilt?
I think yes. And I think resentment is one of those indicators that is really important to pay attention to, because resentment is like just the key, like it's showing you something that you don't want to do. And I think that we don't pay enough attention to our resentment. We push through it, and then we find our patience lowers, our energy lowers. We get mad easier. One of the ways that I really looked at my own resentment is my daughter, who is 16 now, and this was like maybe a year ago she was doing this, but I would go to bed at like 10 p.m., total normal bedtime. I know you were on our podcast. You said you go to bed at 9 p.m. You know what I'm talking about. Like, I want to be in bed. My daughter comes in at 10:10. She's like, Mom, you said you would help me with my bed sheets. Like at 10:10. 10:10. And usually before I would be like, oh, I did say that I would help you. Oh, I'm not following up on my word. But I noticed that little like twinge of resentment that like when she said that, and when I'm like, I'm not following up on my word, my next instinct was to like throw off my covers, stop like out of the bedroom and be like, fine, I will come like change your bed sheets. And I'm like, whoa, now this is telling me something. This is telling me that I shouldn't do this. I don't want to do this. And so I told her, I'm like, babe, it's 10:10. I am in bed. We need to do this tomorrow. And she's like, but you said you would help me. And I just had to stay firm, because I'm like, do we want this calm version of me, or do we want this off, like unhinged, yelling, crazy version of me? And I'm like, I will keep calm. Nope, I'm in bed. Sorry. And she's like, fine. And she like slams the door, and then she ends up apologizing to me the next morning, because she said she was frustrated. But yeah, I mean, that was resentment. Look at your resentment to see if you need to say no to something.
I'm so glad I'm not the only mom that like loses her cool and like blows up and is like on the verge of like, okay, how are we going to handle this? Because I'm going to snap.
Yes. I mean, like, I used to snap too, and I always had to apologize to my kids after that, because I really see the benefit and the power of apologizing to kids, because then they can see exactly how an apology is supposed to go and what it looks like when somebody is sorry for their actions instead of blaming someone else for their actions. So I was apologizing, and I apologized so much that I was able to catch myself in that moment when I was about to really follow through on that resentment and that anger. And I was like, I don't want to apologize for this. I could control this in the moment and not have to apologize. And so it was a process for me to get to that point. That took a lot of apologizing in the like when I was getting there.
No, it's definitely a process. I've been there and still not near as often, but I still have to apologize. And I'm the same way, where I don't want my kids growing up thinking that that's okay. Because don't get me wrong, if I'm being honest, I've definitely said things that I 100% have regretted in those moments.
Oh,
that
me
I
too.
should have never left my mouth, but they did.
I still do.
Yeah,
I don't like, we just have to be easy on ourselves. And every time that happens, I'm like, well, I could fix this. I apologize afterwards.
What tips and tricks or steps even would you give moms who they're having that guilt and resentment of saying no, but their kids are almost holding it over them? Like you said, like, Mom, you said you would help me. Mom, you said if we did this, we could do this. Mm-hmm. How do you tell your moms in your community to handle those situations so they don't feel mom guilt and that resentment?
Well, I think that we will always feel the mom guilt. Like that feeling won't go away. So first of all, just accepting your mom guilt, just knowing that, hey, this is here because of years of societal like education, and you've seen it on TV shows, the moms doing absolutely everything. And you probably saw your own mom doing it, or like other women in your life. Like I still see, I was just out to breakfast with my son and husband on like Sunday, and there was this other table filled with men and like women and like kids, and the woman there was taking care of the kids, and she's like, she brought out her little hand sanitizer and passed it all around the table. And like I don't think of those things. I don't have the forethought to bring hand sanitizer to meals, nor do I, like, that is not on my mind. And I looked over there and I'm like, I should really like be doing that, I guess, like, so we don't have germs. Like it was just a thought that crossed my mind. And I'm like, no, this is totally mom guilt working its way in. So it never, ever, ever goes away. But noticing it, first of all, just being like, there's the mom guilt. Okay. And then when kids come up like that, it's a huge like guilt storm. I, again, bring it back to resentment. I'm like, okay, like here we have this situation where my energy level has changed throughout the day.
Yeah.
When I said I would do this, I had a lot of energy, and now it's the end of the day and I do not have energy. And kids' energy levels change throughout the day too. I mean, there's a time where they can definitely, like, you ask them to do their chores. I mean, it's like one sliver of a day, one sliver of a moment where they're like, okay, I'll do it. And then like all other 23 hours and 59 minutes of the day, they're like, no, I'm too tired. It's like the same thing. So when like kids come up to you like that, I just recommend being like, okay, like I know I totally said we would do this. The day was a lot busier than we had planned, and we ran out of time, and I'm also ran out of energy. So let's, put this on our list tomorrow. Or if you've also had time to rethink what you said you would do, because also, right? Because you also like get into those situations, right, where you're like, yeah, we could do this, and then you think about it, you're like, that was a stupid thing for me to say yes to. I do not want to do this. You could be like, I've had time to think, and I don't think this is a good idea because of this, and just to explain that to them, because it's human. It's like how humans act. Humans have time to think. Humans are allowed to change their opinions. Especially like our kids are allowed to change their opinions if something doesn't serve them anymore. So that's a really great thing to talk with them about and show them an example of it. So if they're in the future and somebody's like, you said you would, they could be like, well, things have changed.
Yeah, I'm totally guilty of that. Just this last weekend, the Minecraft movie came out. I'm like,
Oh,
yeah. I thought about it. I really don't want to go. Did they get to go watch it? Yes, but did mom attend? No.
My son went with a friend, and like even the friend's mom dropped them off at the theater along with the 14-year-old sister who was also going to see friends with friends, and it was great. No parents had to attend the Minecraft movie.
Yes, win right there. Yes.
Yeah.
I even think being able to show them that we can change our mind and how we handle it helps them emotionally, right? Because kids are still developing emotionally. If we're not teaching them how emotions can change and how they are in control of them in those instances, that can really impact them in the long run.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just giving your kids like the peace of mind that they are in control of their own life, and they do not have to live their lives based on other people's priorities and values. I mean, even like as a business owner, email. Let's talk about email, because I know that people listening are probably like consumed by email inboxes. Like you might be one of those people who like tries to get to inbox 0 every day, and you're like always on other people's priorities with that, because if somebody asks you for something, you're like, oh, I better get that to them right away, else they will think like I don't have it together or something like that. I have changed how I do that, where my email inbox represents everybody else's priorities. And so I'm very thoughtful of when I respond, and that I have the time to respond. And as a result, my email inbox does not stress me out as it does many other people.
I was going to ask your personal inbox. How many unread messages do you think you have right now?
Not many, because I just delete. I go delete, 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 delete. Because most people who need to reach me, they text me, like the people in my life, and then like business stuff, the projects that I am really, really involved in, I answer back to people right away. And pitches, I do not. We have a process for that.
Yeah, we are good.
Yeah.
So, what can moms do to minimize the mom guilt? Because as you said, it's not going to go away. So, how can we take back our power when we're experiencing it?
One of the things is, first of all, start noticing what we say to ourselves. One of the hardest things, one of the things that amps our emotions up so much. I'm actually writing my third book, and this is the chapter I worked on just this weekend. Our triggers, like what triggers us to then be incredibly mean to ourselves. For example, when my son was younger, and I would be at the afternoon time where, you spent time with your kids all day, you're exhausted, they're exhausted, nobody's in a good mood. And then I ask him to go pick up his toys, and he's like, nope. And he was like 2 at the time. I mean, no, he says it like 52 times a day. But at that hour, when I was so exhausted, that no turned into me telling myself, oh, like I can't even get my son to pick up his toys. Like, what kind of mom am I? It turned my resentment towards my husband, actually, because I changed careers. I was a teacher before my son was born. I was still a teacher when my daughter was like up until the age of 4 when my son was born. But when I had 2, I always knew I'm like, I cannot handle a teacher's like lifestyle while having 2 kids, because there's just too many things that I need to be flexible for. And so that's actually when I started No Guilt Mom. But when you're first starting a company and you're like the primary caretaker at home with your kids, and you see that your husband gets to go away every day for 9 hours a day and talk with adults and like drive in his car by himself, listening to whatever music he wants, that was prime for me starting to be like, oh, I can't believe I agreed to do this and stay home with my kids. Like, what, like, how stupid am I? Like, I was just so mean to myself, And it took me going to therapy, because I also struggle with depression and anxiety, and it's pretty well managed now. But at the time, my therapist led me through this exercise, which she called circle thinking, where it's like, okay, you cannot change your behavior in the moment. You can't change your feelings there, because you are so used to thinking that way. You have like your neural pathway. It's like walking in the snow to a mailbox. Like the first time you walk in deep snow, it's hard. You have to like pick up your feet, you have to stomp it down. But then like you reach your mailbox and you go back to your house, and you're like, it's a little easier going back to your house because you already created a path. And then if you go outside again, you use the same path, it becomes easier and easier and easier to go to your mailbox. That's how our brain works too. When we've done something for so long, we just use that same path, and it becomes easy and it becomes habit. So when I was in the afternoon and I was triggered and I was thinking all those things, like those thoughts that really didn't do me any good, really put my mood down, I was just using that same path, and it was easy. I had to find a way to retrain my path. So it was a journaling exercise later on at night. Everything was calm, and I had to go back. I'm like, okay, where did I find my mood shift towards my kids? What happened right before? And in this instance, I was like, okay, what happened before was I asked my son to pick up toys. And then the next step is, what thought did I have? Well, he said no. I thought I was a crappy mom. I had all this resentment towards my husband, all the things. And then I had to identify what emotion was caused by that thought. It was shame. It was anger. It was like a little bit of guilt for choosing like to quit teaching and stay at home. And then the next part was like, okay, going back to that thought, what thought can I think instead that may have a more like agreeable emotion, one that's not quite as uncomfortable? I hesitate to use the word negative because I think that all emotions really have a purpose, but something that won't, make me explode.
Yes.
And at that moment, I was like, I'm tired. I've been doing a great job all during this day. Right now, I just need to rest. And yes, he did say no, but he's a toddler, totally age appropriate. And I'm going to give myself a break. And then it was like, what emotion does that cause? And I'm like, okay, I feel calm and in control. And that was the entire exercise. And I would do that each night, and I would look back at the day to see where it changed. And then pretty soon, after maybe 2 to 3 weeks of that, I was like, I could catch myself in that thought pattern. I was like, whoa, wait, what am I saying to myself? Oh, this isn't good. And I was able to change it then in the moment and have a little bit more control. And throughout time, as I've practiced and practiced and practiced that, it has been easier. Yes.
Oh, I love that. I know you're speaking to so many moms right now, especially because you're speaking to me. Like I've got a 6-year-old, and so I'm in it right now with the no's and the anger tantrums and having to recognize it. And it's funny that you're writing a whole chapter on triggers. You're just definitely gonna have to let me know when you publish your book.
Yes.
When it comes to our Lady Boss community and building habits for your physical health and your fitness and your nutrition, I love using the word triggers because to me it's you find that trigger, and then you find the new habit, and then you find that reward. Mm-hmm. And that loop that you just talked about is so similar to that. Like you have to notice like what that trigger is, and then you get to choose what that habit becomes. When you can start pinpointing it, you can flip that narrative. You can find what I like to call is like the gratitude or the goodness out of that moment that you're like, ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. And it like, I know a lot of people too are really hard on themselves. Like the thing that we hear most often in our No Guilt Mom community is all about like, I just can't control my emotions in that moment. And I say to that, like, there is a fix for that. I couldn't control my emotions in that moment either until I did this exercise each night. And I made my brain more aware that I have a choice in the moment. And as soon as my brain started looking for those choices in that situation, I was then able to control it in the moment. So it's a process. Don't quit if right now you're like, I just can't do it. Like, try this, try it, and see what happens.
Oh, yeah. I love it. Yes. I actually just this last weekend, I got ready for the day, got my hair done, just me and my 6-year-old. And I was like, cool, we're going to go get a coffee together, maybe go do some shopping, have a mom Sunday. And I walked to his room. I said, all right, let's go. He goes, I'm not going. I don't want to go. I was like, seriously, I just spent all this time getting ready, and I was so ready to snap. There's a toy by my foot, and I totally kicked it to the side. I was like, seriously, child?
Yeah.
And I had to stop and like, okay, is he the boss? No, I am. But I'm also not going to bring a 6-year-old that's wanting to throw a fit out in public. So how are we going to handle this situation? And am I about to snap right now? It's like, get your butt in the car because that's what I normally do. And instead I was like, you know what? We really don't have to do any of those things today. And I had to set that boundary for me because I don't want to be stressed out in public because I will lose my cool at that point. I know I will because I know me. But then I also have to teach him that he doesn't get to be the boss. And so we ended up not going anywhere or doing anything that day. Like he played with his toys and we got to hang out together. But when he wanted to go do stuff or watch TV and brought his brain in front of that, which he loves to do, I'm like, no, we made a decision to not listen when it was time to listen. And so here's the repercussion of it, right? Like, we're not going to go anywhere. Can we have fun together? Can we hang out and spend good time? Yeah, but we're not going to do all those extra things that you think because of it. And like, it was hard because it ruined my day, it ruined my plans, and I was angry. But it was definitely a balance. And I'm not going to lie, I'm going to toot my own horn here. I was very proud of how I handled it because normally it's the blow up, drag the kicking, screaming toddler to the car. And it's probably like one of the first times I was like, no, it's not going to happen today.
You made like the best decision for your mindset because you really asked yourself the question, what do I need to keep it together, to keep my boundaries in line today? And what do I need to stick to? And so, like, that's a perfect example of just making sure that you are getting what you need instead of letting mom guilt take over and letting, like, seeing like, oh, we could be having so much fun and making these. Oh, I hate it when people use core memories. We could be making core memories right now. I'm like, stop with that. Stop. It's like,
Mhm.
you are putting so much pressure on yourself, and your kids probably aren't even going to remember it the same way that you remember it. You don't get to choose your core memories like this. You get to, like, just make sure that you're the mom who is a stable, strong presence, who shows up and supports her kids emotionally and also models emotional strength as well. And part of emotional strength is also losing it and being able to show them how you recover.
Oh, I love that. JoAnn, can you restate that question? I want to make sure everyone heard. What is that question that you just mentioned to ask yourself when you handle those situations?
Oh, like, will I feel, oh, which one? Will I feel the resentment
Yes.
or?
Yes.
So, like, will I feel resentful if I have to do this? Will I be able to show up in a way that is calm and under control, or will I feel resentful? Now, sometimes that mom guilt tells you, well, I shouldn't feel resentful. I should be able to control all my emotions. And, like, I should just be able to like keep it down and go through it. No, it doesn't work that way. It
No, no
really
way.
doesn't. Like, that will fail.
It will for sure. That is a great question to check in with yourself on
Yeah.
so many levels. Kids know how to push your buttons, and I love when you mentioned the core memories because so my husband is one of 9 and didn't come from a lot. Grew up on a family ranch. 9 kids, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And I love when I get to look at his childhood because it wasn't about the trips and the vacations or this show or that show or the core memories that he remembers. Like he had a really good childhood, and it was the being present in the moment, playing games with his siblings and his parents late at night, like those real, almost like cheesy home fun bonding things. Not we had to go out and sit in the movie theater and we did all this other stuff. That I feel like we almost get stuck in, like, okay, well, if our kids don't get to go to Disney World, they're missing out on life. And it's like, no, that's not where a child's core memories really come from.
Yeah, it's really from being, like, there with your kids. Like, I mean, and we travel and we do go on a lot of vacations as a family, but always, like, the best memories from those vacations are, like, the simple ones. Like, maybe we're just, like, sitting down for a meal and we're laughing over the table, like, over the table. And usually the ones that, like, stand out as, oh my gosh, I never want to do that again, are like the planned ones, like the big events. For instance, we just went to Paris and we went to the Louvre, and you're like, oh, the Louvre, core memory. Oh my God. No, it was so exhausting. So many people, so many crowds. We saw the Mona Lisa after we, like, edged ourselves into, like, the crowd and everything. But it's like, it's always, you're right, those simple pleasures. And I am as a person, I have ADHD. I like all of the like newness of things. I like unique adventures. I like to travel. I like big experiences like that. That is part of my personality. Adventure is one of my core values. And so a lot of times, like, when I'm asked to, like, play on the floor or something like that, I don't want to do it because it's not adventurous to me. It seems boring to me. And I respect that now about myself, where I used to really give myself a lot of guilt for not wanting to play with my kids. Instead, now, like, I look for instances where both of us can be satisfied. Like, my son, he recently just got into mountain biking, and I have never mountain biked before in my entire life. I just became a mountain biking coach for his team
Oh,
because it's that adventure element. I love adventure. Like, the first time I went on a trail, like, it felt slightly dangerous, and I loved that. I was so focused. I was so tuned in. I was so present with everything. And I fell in love with something new. So it's like looking for those opportunities that fill your values, as well as your kids, so that they could see you at your best, and then they're allowed to be their best as well.
Oh, I love that. Parenting looks different. We shouldn't feel guilty because we're not on PTA or because we can't sit on the floor. Because I'm the same way. I did for a long time feel guilty, and honestly, I just had that breakthrough with you hearing you say that, because I hate sitting on the floor playing with the Legos with the kids. Like, that's not my thing. But I do, like, my son just is on the baseball team this year. We go to DBAT like every day after school, and it's so cool to sit there with the boys and hit the baseballs with my 6-year-old and my 15-year-old. But I love that. So, ladies, I want you to hear what JoAnn just said. Like, you don't have to be the parent that sits on the floor or joins PTA or whatever society as a parent is telling you to be, to build those core memories, to be a great mom and show up. You have to find what your child not only loves, but you also enjoy doing. Because I will tell you from my own experience with my parents, is like, you can kind of tell when your parents don't want to be there.
Oh, yeah, you can. Yeah.
No matter how much you hide it, like, you can tell.
Yeah.
They can tell.
But I don't particularly like sitting at baseball games at all. Like, my son loves it, so does my husband. And so we're doing like a mom-son trip this weekend, actually, to Chicago. And my son's like, "Do you want to go to like a White Sox game?" And I'm like, "If you want to go," and he's like, "Mom, you don't want to go." I'm like, "No, I don't." And he's like, "We could do something else." I'm like, "Cool, that sounds great."
It's like, yep, no, the only time I like to go to the sporting events is if I'm watching my child play, because then I'm the crazy person on the sidelines. Otherwise, yeah, I feel you there.
Exactly. And you don't have to, like, as a parent, you don't have to go into like big commitment ridden things. Like, if you hear me being like, "Oh, mountain bike coach," like, don't look at me, because I would do the same. And this is why I bring it up. Don't be like, "Oh my gosh, look at her. She's really volunteering with her kids, and that is something that I should do as well." This has been like my life, working with kids. Like, I was a camp counselor in high school. I loved it then. I was a Girl Scout leader for my daughter. Loved it then. The reason I became in mountain biking was my son joined last year, and the practice is 30 minutes away from our house. So I would have to go and drive him to practice, and then I would sit at a Starbucks for like an hour and a half working, and then go to pick him up. And I'm like, it'll be so much more fun just to be out there on the trail and like get my workout in and like exercise and have fun. And that's the only reason I got into it, along with the adventure part and doing something slightly dangerous that every time I tell people, they're like, "You do what?" And that makes me happy as well.
Yes, I'm a badass. I'm going to say it.
I'm a badass. Yeah.
You know, they make you feel young again. Like, your body may ache and this and that, but like, you're getting active, you're moving your body, and like, you feel young.
Oh yeah, like, I don't feel like, I'm 43. I don't feel any age whatsoever because I'm active. I feel my age when I'm not active, for sure.
Catches up real quick.
Yeah, but as long as I'm like sore in the right places, like, I feel good.
Yes, you're like, I know I did something good with my body. And for the record, JoAnn, you do not look like 43 in any way, shape, or form. You never would have guessed that. So keep doing what you're doing.
43. Thank you. It's good genes.
Good genes. Oh, thank your mom and your dad. You have amazing genes.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So I want to get real raw for a moment. So for those moms that are dealing with severe mom guilt, anxiety, depression, like just really kicking themselves hard right now, what would you say is the number one step that they can focus on right now to start getting their way out of it?
Go get treatment. So totally go get treatment. I was in that position like 3 years ago, and I started therapy, and I started, I got matched with a amazing provider who listened to me, who, like, I told her all my past experiences with anxiety. And it was this one conversation we had where she was giving me my results for the anxiety scale. And she's like, "So you scored a 19 out of 20. That's pretty severe anxiety there." And I'm like, yeah, I didn't realize it was that bad, but yes.
Makes
and
sense.
and I'm like, I was talking about not letting my kids be in the car with other people I don't know well, like who wasn't family. I would have this like horrible fear that they would get into a car accident, and like, because the other drivers, I couldn't trust them. And this fear like ran my whole life. I think I volunteered for a lot of field trips. I loved being a Girl Scout leader because I was in control of my car, and I could drive my daughter those places. And so I was telling her about this fear, and she's like, well, what if we could make that fear just go away? And I'm like, sign me up. Like, and that's when I started on medication, and I started getting treated for it. And now I'm in the process of, I'm with the same provider. We're weaning myself from the medication because I was able to build supports in my life. Other things to look at. There's like, this is a big topic to go into, but there's a huge gut mind connection
Oh
that
yeah.
goes on. When you fix your gut, you find you have less trouble with mood and depression and anxiety,
Yes.
as you probably know, being in a nutrition business.
Very much so.
Yeah, so I'm now getting weaned off. So it's not like a forever thing, but if you are really struggling with anxiety and depression and you're like trying to do the right things like I was, like the journal, the meditating, and they're just not clicking, you just need a little bit of extra help to get there. And that there's no shame in that. And it is such a good life on the other side.
Oh, yes. It's just a tool. And ladies, you're not alone. And I think that's one thing is getting help is the first is I love that piece of advice because I know I've been guilty of trying to keep it all to myself and handle it all myself. And really, that's one of the things that is so great about the Lady Boss community. And I'm sure about your No Guilt Moms community is that you're able to surround yourself with women who have experienced the same thing you are or currently going through it. And so you start to see that you're not alone and it is okay to be where you're at. It's okay to not be okay.
It is okay not to be okay. One of the first things moms say when they get into our balance membership is they're like, I never realized that other women felt this way too.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yes, so many women feel this way too. And there's a lot of joy on the other side of this when you can break some of these thought patterns you have, especially about parenting, about mom guilt, and be able to really live life the way you want to. And you're still a fantastic mom to your kids. Like you're an even better mom to your kids.
Yes, yes, you are. I love that. So, JoAnn, where can the Lady Boss community go learn more about you and what do you have up and coming?
Yeah. So you can go to my website, noguiltmom.com. We also have a weekly, I want to say, I never remember the word for this. Is it bi-weekly when you have 2 episodes a week? I'm not sure. But we have 2 episodes a week of the No Guilt Mom podcast. So go and check out the No Guilt Mom podcast, which Kaitlyn is on coming up very, very soon. And we have so much great stuff coming up. Our balance membership is something that is near and dear to my heart. We've had it now for 5 years, and it is a total step-by-step program just to take women from feeling like they are giving up everything from their kids to being that role model that they want to be in everyone's life and to themselves as well. And then I have my book coming out in the fall.
So
That's
excited.
coming too.
I'm excited to check out your book. Would you mind? So, you and I have talked about your balance method, and I love it because it connects so closely to my heart with the Lady Boss method, which is our state, shape, sparkle, and success. Can you tell the Lady Boss community a bit about your balance method and the pillars inside of it?
Yeah. So we start with habits, and I think of it as mind, body, unicorn. We really want to we need to know what we're thinking, our minds. We need to start moving our bodies. It doesn't have to be like a huge exercise routine, maybe just like a walk with your dog if you're not moving right now. And then your unicorn time, which is something fun to do in your life just for you. Not like, oh, this will be fun to do with my kids. No, this is for you. This is to make you an interesting person outside of your kids. And there's a reason for that. It comes from Eve Rodsky's work. She wrote the book Fair Play. And she found with so many women, they devote it all to their kids that they lose a piece of themselves and they don't know what they find fun anymore. So that's reclaiming your unicorn time. That happens in the first phase. It's actually phase 2 because the first phase is all about like getting to know you kind of stuff. The next one is all about changing what you see and you hear. So it's your communication, what you say and hear rather. Talking with your kids, figuring out what your kids are struggling with right now, figuring out why your kids are doing the things they do. We teach you questioning strategies and really how to get that out and how to be a detective in your kids' lives, as well as what to say to your kids so that they don't become defensive, so that you get more cooperation, more listening. The fourth phase is BHAG phase, which we help you claim a big, hairy, audacious goal. Something just for you, something that you could look back at and be like, yeah, I did that. I am a badass. We've had women buy their first house, achieve the, oh my gosh, I always forget the name of this title, but it's the highest level of Kung Fu because she's a Kung Fu teacher and she always needed this. Sifu, it's a Sifu title. We've had women start their own homestead in their backyard, go back to college to take art history classes, like so many things. And then the last part is boundaries. It's really protecting everything that you've worked on and learning to say no to things that don't serve you, as well as learning how to communicate to other adults in your life, extended family, which always pose a problem,
Yes.
to your spouse, to be able to tell them your feelings and problems in a way that really gets the message across and has the least chance to spur like an explosive reaction from them. But even if it does, teaching you how to control that from there. So those are the 4 areas: habits, communication, the BHAG, and then setting boundaries.
I love it. I was gonna say at first that I think the unicorn is my favorite. I mean, unicorns wow, in general, amazing. But as you just kept going, communication is key in all things. Those big, scary, hairy, that's our success pillar. We call them our big, scary, hairy, God-sized, audacious goals. And I love it. Thank you so much for diving into that balance method for us. And again, where can they go? What's your website again?
NoGuiltMom.com.
Awesome. And then, as she mentioned before, I am on her podcast, No Guilt Mom podcast. I think it's airing the end of April, right?
I think so too. I don't know off the top of my head, but yes, I think it is airing the end of April.
Make sure you go check it out. I think you've got how many seasons out and episodes? I mean, I know it's quite a bit.
We're over 300 now. We've been doing this for 5 years. So yeah, we started in 2020 when the world shut down.
Congratulations. That's amazing. Ladies, there's so much good insight on her podcast. Definitely go check it out. JoAnn, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. I know our lady bosses have gotten so much out of this because it is something that we all struggle with, whether we're about to be moms or we are moms or we're grandparents at this point. I have one question I want to ask you that I try to ask every single guest on our show. And ladies, she has no forewarning. She has no idea what I'm about to throw at her. So I apologize, JoAnn. But what is one action that you do that makes you feel unstoppable when you do it?
Oh, one action that I do. I would say working out. I have to work out. I've become obsessed with Pilates recently, and I just love the beauty of the whole thing and the strength that's required. And so after a Pilates class, I always feel unstoppable because I feel so graceful. And that is not a thing I'm used to feeling, being in my ADHD brain who frequently runs into walls, being feeling graceful is amazing to me. So I would have to say, yeah, it's Pilates for sure.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to check out Pilates. I haven't done Pilates at all, but I swear I'm being targeted by social media right now. I'm
I love it. I do Pilates Club, by the way. They're a chain, so they might be by you. I love them. Club Pilates, rather. It's Club Pilates.
Club Pilates. I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm scared I'm gonna hurt myself on the Pilates table, but I can do it.
No, they their whole goal is you have to do it safe. So they don't give you very hard movements at first. You really have to master the form and master the movements. I'm only on a level 1.5 and I'm working on it to a 2 right now, where you get to actually stand up on the reformer. They don't let you stand up on the reformer until you prove that you balance well.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be great for your balance, because I tell you what, if I can hurt myself, I will.
I do too. Yeah, and I have not hurt myself in Pilates. It's been the best.
That's amazing. Okay, I'm gonna have to check it out. I love it. Well, JoAnn, thank you so much again for joining us on LadyBoss Unplugged. It's truly been a pleasure, and I can't wait till this episode goes live and everyone gets to see it. Ladies, go follow JoAnn on what is your social? I guess I didn't ask you. What is your social?
How do you find on Instagram?
Yes.
It's No Guilt Mom.
No Guilt Mom. Easy peasy. NoGuiltMom.com, No Guilt Mom podcast, and No Guilt Mom on Instagram, right?
Yes. Always, all places, No Guilt Mom.
Amazing. And don't kill me, JoAnn, but if you found any of this beneficial, we want to know, what have you taken away from today's episode? So please DM me, DM JoAnn. We want to know. And if you have any questions for either one of us, please reach out. Sorry, I'm totally volunteering JoAnn right now. I hope that is okay.
Oh yeah, definitely. Please reach out. Please reach out.
Yes, reach out, ladies. And I can't wait for you ladies to hear this episode. Reach out, let us know, and we will talk to you next time. Bye.